Okay, welcome to the assembly of the QuadGuard system. Step one, after you have your concrete pad, you want to position your tension strut backup. Center of the backup aligned with the center line of the pad, 4 inches space from the back of the pad. Go ahead and align the backup. Okay, so the backup center of the system is aligned with the center line, 4-inch spacing from the back of the pad. Step 2 would be to align the remaining monorail. Okay, the center line of the monorail is continued to be in line with the center line of the pad. The monorail system is completely compressed at the joint. Now you are ready to drill your holes for anchoring the system. Okay, after successfully anchoring the monorail to the concrete pad, the next step would be to attach the rear transition pieces. They're attached to the backup using 2 5/8-inch rail bolts. After attaching the transition panels, we want to prepare the first diaphragm to be installed on the monorail. It's going to face the flat section of the quad beam towards the backup of the system. Then we want to attach the monorail guides to the diaphragm. Insert the bolts from the inside out. We're going to use a spring washer and then install the nut. Now we will drag the diaphragm rearward along the length of the monorail to make sure there's no snagging on the monorail. All the way to the backup. Okay, now there's no snagging. We will position the backup 36 inches from the back of the backup to the back of the diaphragm. Okay, now we have properly oriented and spaced our diaphragms and attached the monorail guides. We will now attach the end cap to the monorail using a hex bolt and a spring washer and nut. Once that's attached, we will prepare our fender panels for attachment, starting at the rear of the system and working forward. And now we will attach the fender panel with the tapered end facing towards the rear. 2 rail bolts on the top and bottom holes, and the mushroom washer bolt in the rear center slot. Okay, now we've installed the remaining fender panels. We're going to show you how to install the mushroom washer bolt, spring, washer, and attaching nut properly. These have all been installed all the way back. We're just going to show you on the front. So you put the mushroom washer in, you slide it through the slot. Ensure that it's flat. You line the hole up with the hole in the diaphragm. You insert the bolt. And you put the spring on the bolt. Then the flat washer on the bolt. And then attach the nut. When attaching the nose assembly, you want to ensure that the arrow points up. Okay, when attaching the nose assembly, ensuring the arrow is pointing up, the nose attaches through the fender panel assembly into the diaphragm, connecting with 3 rail bolts and rail nuts. And also a flat washer on the outside. So it's easiest to attach the top, then the bottom rail nut, as the center bolt holds the chain attachment points. So on the center bolt of the nose, the chain pull-out brackets are attached to the inside of the diaphragm. Okay, now we'll begin installing the cartridge support brackets. The cartridge support bracket for the backup is different than the other support brackets. It has this bent up flange which faces upward in the rear, and it installs underneath the bottom panel of the QuadGuard backup. Tilt it up, tilt it back, and it gets held in place with a locking bar. And the locking bar is slid in at the bottom of the diaphragm, in front of the I-beam, across the flange, the back of the cartridge support. And that holds it in place. So the remaining cartridge brackets look like this. They attach to the flat bar on the diaphragm leg assembly. The notch fits over the top of the flat bar and slides down. There's one on the back and one on the front of each diaphragm. And then we will continue to do the remaining diaphragms. Okay, now we have all the panels and nose loosely assembled. Now we're going to go through and connect all the attachment bolts and torque them to their appropriate 35 Newton meters. Okay, after torquing properly all the rail bolts for attachment, we want to go back through with the mushroom washer assembly and compress the spring 4 millimeters from its uncompressed state. After compressing the springs on all the mushroom washer assemblies, we want to check the diaphragm and make sure that the fender panel gap is no more than 20 millimeters. Okay, now we'll begin installing the cartridges, with the Type 2 cartridges being at the back. This is Type 2 on the label, and the arrow is facing towards the nose. And we will continue to install the remaining cartridges. Now the final cartridge is to be installed in the nose. It rests in the rear on the cartridge support bracket, and the front lip rests on the cartridge support bracket attached to the nose.